Hey everybody, I'm back. I know I promised you I was going to try to get a few more videos in the next couple of weeks rather than just once a week, and I will. I just, I'm busy, and that's a good thing. It's a great market for us right now, so I've got a couple deals that we'll talk about here as they're developing. Tune in to some of my other students. You'll see you can connect. I'll leave reference links and materials on this website and my other websites as well, so that you can follow along with different things that I'm doing, because I'm hoping to change or prepare to change your mind on how you think, because this really takes a mindset to do, guys, and not much more than that. But we'll get more into that. I kind of want to talk about cash flow. If any of you are familiar with the game Cash Flow 101, it was a game created by Robert Kiyosaki. And you'll hear me say that name again and again, because he's a very prominent and successful investor here in Arizona, and well, actually all over now. But he wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, one of about 4 or 5 book series that I highly recommend. Start with Rich Dad and just follow along. There's the Cash Quadrant and an investor series, and just follow along with those books. Anyhow, he invented this game called Cash Flow 101, and it is absolutely awesome. And it's kind of a combination between Monopoly and Life, and then taking it up another notch, like really updated. And it's an opportunity for anybody, ages 13. I mean, we've had 12-year-olds show up and play and actually win the game. And so anyway, ages from 12 on up to play this game, engage themselves, and kind of learn and play the investment game. Obviously because it's fake money, but the deals that we have are real deals, or really close to it. And as you go along the game, light bulbs start to go on, and you start to realize as you're interacting with other people, the decisions you make with your money, operating from an income and balance sheet, and it's not only fun, it's addictive. It's just as addictive as Monopoly was, but better. So go to meetup.com. It's a social networking site. I'll say it again, meetup.com, MEETUP.com. That is how I suggest that you find a Cash Flow 101 meetup. And what I mean by that, if you don't know, and ask around, if you're not in the know what meetup.com is, then you're a little bit behind time, guys. So that's a social network where you can find groups of people that get together for various reasons. There's soccer meetups, there's soccer mom meetups, there's chess meetups, there's engineering meetups, there's business professional meetups. Well, there are cash flow meetups. So find one in your area, in your neighborhood, in your city. There's several going on any given day in the week, usually in the evenings, sometimes on the weekends, and they run about 3 to 4 hours long. And be a part of it. Just go. Play the game. You'll see exactly what I mean. I'll give you a brief story about one a little bit later here. We've been having cash flows. When I say having, we've been hosting cash flows for the last 4 to 6 months, and they've been getting bigger and bigger as we've gone along. We kind of climaxed a little bit last night. We had 8 tables. We had 8 games going. So we had probably about 65 people in the house, with about 50 or 50 odd, some people playing the game. People were pairing up just so they can get in the game, because you really can only have about 6 or 7 or 8 players per game. So people kept coming in, and we were just adding them in. So we had a great night. We're having to book larger venues in order to hold them, but it's addicting. Go do it. It's one way to kind of start getting your feet wet when it comes to the real estate game. So I highly recommend it. Behind some of the reading that I really, really want you to do, and studying and preparing, this game will kind of set the tone for the mindset that you got to have. So find one near you and go and play the game. It doesn't make any sense for me to try to explain it to you here. Just play it. I'll give you a brief story. I had an ad out in the paper for not my apartment. It was a house lease option that I had in the paper, and this young lady called me, and she started asking me questions about the property, and I was getting the criteria of what she was looking for, that if I didn't have exactly what she was looking for, I could plug her into my network and we'd find her something. And so we just got to talking, and she said, she was kind of wondering how I knew what I knew, how I got into owning properties, and you know, where could she go to find out something like that other than just crossing her fingers and asking around and going to seminars. So I said, well, first off, start having come to one of our cash flow games, because that's kind of where it's a good place to start. It's a relaxed atmosphere. So she comes, and she's married. Her husband is a plumber. She has a couple of kids, and you know, they're going through some changes, and so she comes to the game by herself, and I place her in between. Strategically, we put people who played next to people who have not played, so that it kind of keeps the game going, and they can always ask questions of the person next to them. So that's what I did. And we play the game, and we break it up in two halves. We do a first half, if you don't mind me saying, and then a second half. In the first half, we just kind of let you go. We explain the rules, and then we shove you off and say good luck. And then we stop about halfway, and it's very difficult because people are playing. It's very tough to get people to stop playing, but we do. And we talk a little bit about if they have a strategy, how they're making decisions based on what criteria, and we kind of give them some hints on how to play the second half to get closer to winning the game. So I was watching her, and the first half she was just really more of an observer than anything, just kind of moving along and just watching and listening, which was good. Because in the second half, she started taking a little more action rather than just listening and watching. She was starting to participate a little bit more. And so as the game progressed, she was getting a little more excited, and she started realizing some things. So anyway, the game comes to an end, which is very difficult to do too, because we have a hard time starting it at a halftime, much less to try and end the game. So we stopped the game at about 3.5, 4 hours, because I mean, obviously we can go all night long playing this game, but we asked questions, we talked to people, and we asked them, you know, what they thought of the game, if they thought they learned something, and maybe there's some lessons to be learned, and there are, and you hear about them every time. And we talked a little bit about how we have, as real estate investors within our network and outreach, have gotten people into the game unknowingly, and how our program works with mentoring and the education that we have. So we do that, and we let people go. Well, I grab her and walk her outside, and she's like, oh, really quiet. And so I go, wow, you were kind of talking in there. What happened? She's like, I'm just thinking. And I'm like, what are you thinking about? She stopped, and she's like, I really, really want to thank you for two things. One, for me finding your ad and helping me get into a home. I thought because my credit was shot that I was never going to be able to get in the home, and then I talked to you, and you told me it was not a problem, and I feel like you're working for me, because you told me if I can't get in one of your homes, you'll get in somebody else's, and I thought I had to pay a realtor to do that. And I'm like, no, you don't have to. She goes, so that's the first thing. She goes, the second thing is you invited me to this cash flow game. I go, well, I just try to enlighten people and show them, that it's not as hard as people think. And she's like, yeah. She goes, but more than light bulbs went on as I was playing that game. I realized how I am with money. I realized how I make decisions. And I realized how me and my husband are in control of everything, and that all the decisions we made got us to where we're at, and that if we just do things differently, that we could probably be in a better position. And I said, absolutely. She goes, so I don't even know how to thank you, but thank you. And so she reaches and she just grabs me, hugs me, and like squeezes me, and she's like, I don't know what more to do. I don't have any money right now. Whatever money I have, I'm like, I don't need money. She's like, no, she goes, this game, I can't believe, taught me more about myself than I've ever realized before. I would never have known. But watching those people, and then doing some of those things, and just playing and being in that room with all those people, with investors and non-investors, that was exciting. Can I come again? I'm like, absolutely. She's like, I can't believe you don't charge for this. I'm like, it's not my MO. So she just kind of looked at me, and I started welting, and she started getting tears. She's like, she goes, again, I want to thank you. I want to bring my husband next time, and is it okay if I bring my kids? I was like, absolutely, bring your kids. And so she hugs me again, and she's just like, thank you. You don't know how profound this was for me. This is just more eye-opening than I ever thought it would be. So anyway, that's cash flow, guys. Get out there and play it. You'll learn a lot about yourself. You'll start to understand where I operate and how things work.